Good afternoon. Today we're going to learn how to teach and learn in an urban environment. My name is Brittany Phelps. After the presentation's over, I'm going to have you answer 5 multiple choice questions on how to teach in an urban environment. Most people assume that being an urban learner means the student is a poor or minority learner, but the true definition of an urban learner is one who is from an urban or high populated environment. Keep this in mind throughout the presentation. Do not mistake an urban learner for a minority student or a student in low poverty. With a large population in an urban environment comes a beautiful mixture of people. Your urban students will be extremely diverse. You'll see students from every end of the economic spectrum and cultures from all over the world. More importantly though, your students will be individually diverse. It will be important as their teacher to foster an environment where this individuality and diversity can be celebrated. In the next few slides, I will discuss 5 strategies for teaching urban learners. The first strategy is to team up with the tools the urban environment offers you. Instead of looking at the students' differing cultures as an obstacle to face within the classroom, utilize it to get to know your students better or to get your students excited about topics by relating the material back to the culture they know and love. It is also a great tool to get the parents involved. If a parent sees that their child's teacher is interested in the culture that makes them unique, they will be more entitled to relay that interest in their child's schoolwork. The urban environment itself is also a tool. As a teacher, you have access to museums and history and community organizations that some schools do not. You will have the ability to make the material come to life for students and to get them out of the classroom to learn. A team effort between the culture, environment, and school can truly create a dense education for your students. Because of the busy and active and diverse environment in which your urban learners live, they learn best in a similar environment. Another good strategy for urban teaching is to keep the students active. Moreover, it helps to keep the activity rich and varied. Your students will get bored with the same routine every day, so seek out ways to keep learning interesting and active. Here's an example of an urban classroom utilizing these strategies.
At course, that's where you find me at, kicking back, eating snacks. What you know about that? I'm at course. Making tracks, writing raps, grades on track. What you know about that?
Notice that the teacher has gotten the class out of the classroom and is engaging them in an activity that gets them excited and interested in learning. We will watch a short video of a discussion over Romeo and Juliet in an urban classroom. Note that the teacher is not lecturing, but guiding the students in discussion, and eventually asking them questions beginning with, "Why do you think, and what do you think about this?" He's facilitating discussion among the classroom.
You finished the play, so congratulations. That's a very big accomplishment. I'm sure at the very beginning you were like, this language is kind of difficult. I'm not sure how we're going to make it through. But you did. You read it. You read one of the greatest tragedies of all literary history. So congratulations on that. What we're going to start off with today, today we're going to be hitting kind of the main points we've been hitting all throughout this unit on Romeo and Juliet. And we're going to start off today with plot. Now let me tell you a little secret. This worksheet is going to be super necessary when we come Friday when I introduce you to our big final project. We're going to be having something you're going to enjoy doing. It's creative. We're going to have a blast working on our final project. But we're going to be having to shorten Romeo and Juliet up a little bit. So this worksheet is going to be key. Now, we're going to work on this. This is one page that is going to tell us the entire story of Romeo and Juliet. Alright, so we've shortened it down to one page. All that reading, those weeks of reading, someone's going to be able to look at this and know exactly what happened. So as a class, we're going to go through. So I want everyone to have a pencil out, and you should be filling this in because, like I said, this is not only going to be a good reminder of what's happened so far, but this is going to be crucial for your project. Okay? So let's get started. Whole class, we're just going to figure out each of these one in a row, and we'll figure out what happened in Romeo and Juliet in one page. Okay? Here in Act 1, it starts off. The prince declares that further fighting will be punished by what? Somebody raise your hand. What does he say? He gets really mad. Excel. Death. Excellent. He's like,
earlier, the diversity within your classroom can and should be used as a tool. Your students are not the same. Your students will not think the same. Your students will not have the same opinions. It will be your job to create a place where they feel safe and respected enough to think for themselves and formulate their own opinions. In doing so, you will foster an environment where your diverse students can learn from one another and grow from one another. Keep in mind that this is not the teacher's job to inject or impart their knowledge onto their students, but to facilitate respectful and engaging discussion among the classroom. The next tool is regarding the environment. Your urban students thrive on pride in the things in which they identify themselves, their culture, their family, their neighborhood, their friends. It is your job as their teacher to bring that into the classroom environment. If you want your students to take pride in their schoolwork, give them a reason. When their work, both graded and creative, is displayed around the classroom, it gives the students a sense of ownership in the space and lets them know that you are proud of what they do. So they should be too. Most students have trouble focusing in class, especially when they sit in a subject and wonder, when am I ever going to use this in the real world? Urban students, more than any other, need to know the material that they are learning is worthwhile. Another good strategy when teaching urban learners is to apply the information to the real lives they live. Make it relevant to them. Explain to them why what they are learning is important and applicable to the real world. You will lose their interest if you do not. Knowing your students individually will be a vital step in being able to make the material relevant to them. In conclusion, teaching students in an urban environment requires a few skills and strategies, like a teamwork between you and the urban environment, activity, keeping it rich and varied, fostering discussion and celebrating that diversity and allowing them to think for themselves, creating an environment in the classroom where they're secure and can take pride in their work, and keeping the information relevant to the things that they are interested in and the things around them and the real world in which they live. As I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, we're going to have some multiple choice questions for you to answer.